forward to it, you sit down to it, you enjoy it, and then you sit back and you reflect on it and you say, you know what, that was good, Mom, thank you, whatever, wash your plate, go back to doing whatever you were doing. What is not effective is sitting there saying, no, I'm fine, even though inside you really want it. So then you eat all of your healthy food, like all of your normal meal, and you maybe have a protein bar after because it's a protein bar and it's healthy, and then afterward you start to pick at that piece of cake, and you pick at it. The next thing, you've had 2 slices, and then after that you're like, oh, I feel sick, so you no longer have the appetite to eat healthy food. So what do you do after that? You're like, oh, there's a tin of roses there, hello, and there's some heroes and there's some celebrations, and next thing you're picking away at them and picking away at them, and you racked up another 1,000 calories. So be proactive, don't be so hard on yourself, enjoy yourself. And the other thing is, like, sitting there eating a full box of chocolates, it's not really enjoyable for anyone, to be honest. Like, you know, I think eating the box of chocolates is one of those things where people just sit down and they think, oh, this is small. So there's a lower barrier of entry for you to actually eat that food based on you allowing yourself to accept it. Because what fitness people a lot of the time won't do is go and have a full bar of chocolate, as in go and buy a bar of chocolate, like eat the whole thing in one go. They just won't do it because the barrier of entry there is like, whoa, I have to actually accept that I'm going to eat this full bar of chocolate. And that's something people very often aren't like prepared to do, because they're like, oh, that's like 400 calories. I'm not having this share bar of dairy milk or whatever. Whereas what they will do is say, oh, I'll have 1 chocolate, 70 calories. And then you have another chocolate and another chocolate. And it is not rare at all for you to sit there and eat like 15 tiny little caramels or whatever. And then you've racked up like, what would that be, like 1,050 calories. So be mindful of that, be proactive, allow yourself a little bit of the foods you enjoy, but be real with yourself as well. Don't just sit there and keep on eating the box of chocolates when you know it's not giving you any pleasure, and when you know in the back of your mind, like subconsciously, semi-consciously, that the calories are racking up as you eat those foods. Because like everyone knows at the end of the day that, oh yeah, these chocolates probably not the best idea, and everyone also knows that having 1 is rarely a thing. But if you can have 1, then by all means do, but don't just sit there pigging out. It's not of benefit to anyone. And the final point I wanted to make, so we've talked about food. You're gonna enjoy your food, you're gonna be proactive with it, you're gonna use that time to enjoy your favorite foods and spend time with your family, etc. You recognize that overeating a little bit isn't going to cause you to go massively off the wagon, to gain a whole pile of weight or anything like that. If anything, you know, calming things down at Christmas, de-stressing a little bit, even if you are overfeeding a little bit, could lead to, you know, a reduction in water retention, you feeling better about yourself overall, getting better sleep, things like that, just because of the Christmas time. And you'd probably feel better, you know, even if you are overfeeding a little bit. So don't worry too much about that. But then onto the actual, you know, exercise side of things. What a lot of people will try and do is overcompensate for the food that they're eating. So, you know, you go and have the 10 chocolates and it's fine because you go out and run then for an hour and a half or whatever. You go to the gym and you do this crazy workout that you would never normally do just for the sake of burning calories. So you go and you do that, and then you come back and then you're like, oh, you know what? I must have burned like 1,000 calories in that workout. So then you have a little bit more food, all right? So this is the next thing. Do not get into this like binge and then over-exercise cycle, okay? It is not effective. It's going to make you feel worse, and it is likely going to cause you to deteriorate further into that kind of psychological hole of more binging and more binging. Okay, so if you're someone that is susceptible to that, please recognize that that is a thing, and that you don't want to fall into that exercise trap. Okay, if you have exercise planned for this week, and you should have a program that you're following or a plan that you're following, follow it. Okay, regardless of how many calories you eat, especially when you're going over, your training should not be changing. Like that's not a thing. Your program should not be adjusting to doing more and more work just because you kind of went off track and ate a load of extra food, because burning calories is not a training goal. Okay, it's not benefiting you. It's not benefiting you to just go in and completely overstress your body, because your body's just going to be kind of crying out then for a little bit more pleasure after you beat it up, because you're going to be like, oh, I'm so tired, and then your willpower is a little bit depleted, and then you're like, oh yeah, I also depleted all this glycogen, so I'm going to have a little bit more food. And then people fall into that cycle again, and then suddenly it's January and you're dieting and you didn't even plan on it. Okay, so keep all of those things in mind. So I think that's kind of all I really wanted to say, but I did want to close off as well, again, just by saying that, you know, regardless of whether you're religious or not, this is an important time for spending time with your family and friends, kind of, you know, reflecting on the year, thinking about next year, and just using this week as that nice little buffer period between, you know, the hectic time building up towards Christmas, whether you had exams or whatever, or work deadlines, and the hectic time that is the new year, as everyone kind of gets back to college and the semester picks up again and you get back to work and things are a bit of a trudge, you know, through January. So use this time to your benefit. Do the things you enjoy with the people you enjoy. Eat the foods you enjoy, you know. Do those things that you've been putting off doing, like going for that walk with your mother up that hill or whatever. Okay, so do those things. Enjoy the time. Stop focusing only on the training and diet side of health and fitness, because that is not all that it is. Okay, if you're not working, use this time to get a little bit of extra sleep. Use this time to reduce your stress, and use this time to do all of those things that make you happy and make your life a little bit better. And there is my sister. Welcome to the Triage Militia. Alright guys, on that note, thanks very much for watching. I hope you all have an awesome Christmas, and we are of course here to answer any questions that you have down in the comment box below and help you through this period and into the new year.